Thank you to Nintendo for providing me the game to make this review possible. Welcome Tour is the latest tech demo showcase for Nintendo console, and it is developed and published by, obviously Nintendo. With Nintendo needing to showcase all the tech inside their new console, this time being the Nintendo Switch 2, they decided let's do so in the form of an information guide and tech demo mashup. However, was this the proper way to do it, or should another route have been taken? Only one way to find out, so let's start the tour! Gameplay. Nintendo has a history of releasing pack-in titles that showcase their console hardware's power, or even just tech demos disguised as games that show the player the new features that their new consoles offer, such as with Wii Sports or Nintendo Wii that took motion gaming from just a fad to a global phenomenon with how both fun and innovative the game was with bowling, baseball, and tennis showcases. Then of course with Nintendo Wii U, we had titles like Nintendo Land, which highlighted the Wii U gamepad capabilities, which I found really fun and inventive as well. Which I seem to be in the minority about, but oh well, who cares? I'll just do like I always do and have Kirby eat all of my enemies. Such a good boy, Kirby. Finally, you have 1-2 Switch on Nintendo Switch that aim to give players a proper introduction to all new Joy-Con controllers, albeit to a wave of mixed reactions for it from both hardcore gamers to even more casual audiences. But now here in 2025, a new console has arrived, and alongside it, a tech demo showcase with Welcome Tour. Here in Welcome Tour, new audiences for the Nintendo Switch 2 console will journey across 12 different sections of the Nintendo Switch 2 and its hardware, going through stages A to L. As you explore through these areas, you will learn more about the features the new console has and all the technical spec details that go into them as well. If I had to accurately describe just what this title actually entails, it's like a mix of an information manual you normally receive with your consoles or electronics, and blended alongside a collectathon. Pretty weird, right? I mean, it plays well with my borderline ADHD because I'll be wandering around and then just see something to pick up and be like, ooh, shiny! And immediately have to go and pick it up without question, which then makes me forget what I was doing in the first place. Oops! When you start up Welcome Tour, you begin in the same place you started when picking up your Switch 2 pre-order, in a line. The heck? Dang it, Nintendo! When you state this is to give fans a full Switch 2 experience, we didn't think that you meant even the pre-order waiting in line experience too. Ugh. Oh well, let me wait in line for 4 hours, then we can get World Tour started. Be right back, guys.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Okay, you don't really have to wait 4 hours. It takes less than a minute to pick your character and move into the first game hub, which begins at stage A and ultimately ends at stage L. Each section of a stage has you run around a 3D world on top of a Nintendo Switch 2 accessories, like the screen itself, left and right Joy-Cons, camera, wheel accessory, mouse wheel straps, and the inside workings of what makes this console tick and work. Through these zones, you will be tasked with going to each component of the Switch 2 and collecting a stamp from each component that represents items like controller buttons, ventilation, docking, connectors, SoC, magnet connections, ports, etc. And each discovered item awards you a badge for that area in order to advance to the next area. For example, of going from Zone A to Zone B and onwards to L, some may require 9 stamps, 15 stamps, or even up to 23 or more stamps before the next area unlocks, and you find new tech to explore. Each new zone gives you even more besides badges, like finding items laying around on the ground that people have lost that you can collect and take back to the Lost and Found, which honestly is sort of like a game of hide and seek when searching for these things. Every zone also allows you to partake in quizzes that give you questions about the Nintendo Switch 2, history of its making, how it was made, and then test that knowledge of yours and wonders if you were even paying attention in the first place, or if you were just sitting in the back of class laughing like Beavis and Butthead. I did several of these quizzes, including a quiz at the end that asked you 13 questions, and I got perfect scores on each of them. See that? Mama didn't raise no fool. She just raised a socially awkward girl that overuses puns and thinks fart jokes are funny because even in her 30s, still hasn't found her maturity. Don't be hatin'. But even though exploring the console's parts itself is fun, at least for me, most people are here to test out the minigames. And oh yes, there are a ton of minigames that showcase Switch 2's capabilities that range from teaching you about the sensitivity of the HD rumble, with a minigame that wants you to find the origin of the rumble by moving the Joy-Con around to find out where the signal is strongest, testing out the fluidity and smoothness of the mouse function of the Joy-Cons by using a UFO to move around and dodge spiked balls for as long as you can and collect stars, which I started off pretty bad in. Joy-Con, literally hiding in the corner to spare myself some time. And when that didn't work, then 30 tries later I got my courage and defeated my embarrassment and actually beat the dang level and got my medals. Sheesh! Other minigames I encountered made use again of the mouse function as you take a car and have to tilt the Joy-Con to pull off some Gravedigger-like action moves and balance on 2 wheels to hit a speed objective to make it to the finish line. There were also minigames that focused on the Joy-Cons themselves by having you hold them like a motorcycle and rev the bike up with the right Joy-Con and speed around like you're driving. That one felt really fun, even if it was on the short side. Then there were minigames that showcased 4K in pixel format, using the original Super Mario Bros. As an example, and holy crap, was this thing so dang tiny! I literally had to lean in to see what the heck I was doing in order to complete the minigame objectives. Nintendo, did Rick Moranis help you make this? Because it felt straight up like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids up in here. However, out of the minigames I played, the gathering water with the Joy-Cons was the one that was the bane of my existence. In this minigame, you use both Joy-Cons and use them as a scoop to hold, lift, and drop water onto platforms to make a wheel spin to turn on a light bulb. Simple, right? Maybe for most people, but not me. I struggled so much doing round 2 of this minigame, not being able to lift properly, and basically just ended up flailing in all directions, hoping to get lucky. Dang it, you stupid water! Get up there! Get on the platform! It's your home! Are you too good for your home? But while most of the games are actually fun, there were some that I couldn't actively play due to VRR, HDR, and other modes that involved handheld mode at the time of recording my gameplay because those required handheld mode and aren't available in docked mode. That's not an issue with the game itself, just my own personal issue since I like to document everything I do with the recorded footage. But what is the issue with the game itself is the fact that some of these minigames require extra hardware just to complete them. Yup, ouch. For example, some minigames make it mandatory to own a USB camera to play it, which will run you like $55, and then other sets of minigames require the Switch 2's Pro Controller, which costs you another $80. I mean, I get it, they want everyone to experience what the console has to offer, sure, business-wise I get it, but not everyone is going to be able to shell out the dough for all the extra stuff. Partially because Wario keeps stealing their money. But on the positive side at least, 90% of all the minigames are playable without paid accessory add-ons, so experience isn't hampered too badly at the very least. Overall, at the end of the day, strangely enough, I had a good time with Welcome Tour, all things considered. Obviously, it's not perfect, with mandatory accessory purchases being required, and some of the better minigames being a tad bit on the short end. However, with its collectathon-like gameplay finding hidden items, learning the ins and outs of the system and how it's put together, hundreds of stamps to collect, quizzes to test your Switch 2 logic, 12 zones harboring secrets, minigames that allow you to feel the rumble and guess what shape you feel, but not getting zapped by Dr. Venkman for getting one wrong, first-person balloon shooter that gives you a taste for the future of FPS on a console such as Metroid Prime 4, and how it will play, and dozens more, etc., they all honestly make this technical showcase a pretty fun one at the end of the day. Now, should this have been in a pack like Super Mario Bros. Was for NES, Wii Sports for Wii, Nintendo Land for Wii U? Well, I'd say yeah, this could have easily been a packing game, and I don't think that it would have gotten near as much hate as it has gotten. Still, $10 isn't too much of a price leap, considering this tech demo can give you up to 6 to 7 hours of gameplay should you collect all medals, ranging around 50 of them, and play mini-games. So while this may not be everyone's cup of tea, which I get, I still find $10 for it justifiable, even if I agree it should have been packed with the console itself. So with all that having been said, my verdict is clear. Game-A-Chick says bye now.